Beliefs are ideas that we feel certain about. Now, that word feel is the most important word in that sentence. We feel certain about. So often when we try to convince people beliefs, what do? We give them the 10 billion reasons why they're wrong and we're right. Let me give you my evidence. And does that ever work? Do people turn around and go, well, you know what? I felt very strongly about this, but since you told me I was wrong, which really helps, by the way, when you said I was wrong, after that, I thought to myself, maybe I am. And then you gave me all this evidence, which showed conclusively that I'm wrong. And based upon that premise, I'm going to suggest that I was in fact wrong. Thank you for correcting me. You're smarter and better than me. And I apologize for wasting your time. Has anyone ever had a conversation like that with anyone? Doesn't happen. Has anyone here, be honest for it, figured out they were wrong halfway through an argument, but they didn't want to lose, so they kept fighting, right? I know you. I've done the same thing myself. I've used my little argumentation tricks. Like halfway through, I'm going, no, you're not on the right side of this one, Owen. I'm going, doesn't matter. Just revert back to rhetoric. Become a little Socrates. So beliefs are ideas we feel certain about. What does that imply? It implies in order for us to change the belief, we need to change the feelings, not just the logic. And so therefore, the worst thing you can do is to try to make a person feel wrong because they will defend it. That's where confirmation bias kicks in. So if you want to change another person's mind, the worst thing you can do is just rely on logic. If they're open to it and they want their minds changed and they're working on the principle of debate where the strongest argument wins, great. But 9 times out of 10, that's not real life. So it's about how do we make them feel? The stories you tell yourself about yourself. And primarily, the stories you tell yourself about yourself is going to determine the identity that you form. It's going to determine how you think and feel about who you are. What's imperative is that you learn to be able to overcome this and change the stories. And so primarily, we kind of teased about how we do this, but I want to just go into this, the core stories that you tell yourself about yourself. And that is, like I mentioned earlier, the victim mentality. We are always the victims of what happens to us. The reason I have the problems is because of my family. The reason I have the problems is because of my friends. The reason I have the problems is because of the economy. The reason I have the problems is because of the government. The reason I have the problems is because of COVID. We look to the world as the reason why we have the problems, and therefore, guess how much control we have over that? None. We have the ability to feel bad about it, but we don't have the ability to do anything of substance when we're a victim. The other thing we could do is we can be our own worst enemy, sabotage ourselves. I'm the villain in my own story. I ruin every good relationship I've ever been in. I ruin every business I've ever had. I destroy it. I'm just not smart enough. I'm a fraud. They're going to find out who I am very soon enough. And as a result of that story, we tell ourselves, it doesn't matter what happens. Someone gives us a winning lottery ticket and we go, yeah, well, I'll probably waste this like I've wasted my life. Does anyone know anyone like that just like, no matter what, they just see everything in that way? It's because the story is so pervasive that they're able to internalize everything and create a totally different world. That means that it doesn't matter what you do for them. They still see themselves as the victims. I know people that I'm impressed with how good they are at this. You can give them everything and they're still going, yeah, well, why didn't you do this before? You know what I mean? You compliment them and they go, well, so you're saying I don't normally look good. Anyone like that? That's so sensitive. It's like they say, you look great. And you go, oh, right. So I didn't look great yesterday. It's because their brain is searching to be the victim. So let's again take the trauma. If we sabotage ourselves, we ask ourselves the question, what is the story I'm telling myself about success? So if someone experiences self-sabotage, which I'm sure many of us do, what is it? What is it that we say about success that makes us scared? So let's say you believe you're not good enough. Again, we need to unpack the stories. That's what, again, great, when therapy's done well, that's what great therapy does. It's unpacking the stories. What is the story you're telling yourself about yourself that suggests that you aren't good enough, that you aren't worthy, that you don't deserve love, that you don't deserve happiness, that you don't deserve success? What's the story you're telling yourself? And you identify that and you ask yourself that in that story, what character am I? Am I a hero? Am I a victim? Am I a villain? What's going on there? And once you start to deconstruct the story, do you know what it does? It gets you to recognize that's all it is. It's a story. And when you recognize that's all it is, it's a story, all of a sudden you start to doubt the story. You start to realize it's just a story.